Hello bakers, thank you very much for joining me today. Welcome back to the Cakers channel. On this channel we do cake decorating tutorials and share cake decorating tips and tricks. Continue watching this video to see how I achieve this look. Funny story before I begin decorating this cake. This 6-inch circle cake that you're seeing on the top of this video is actually what I carved to get the shape of the head that I'm decorating now. However, for some strange reason, I cannot find that clip, so I'm unable to show you now how I carved out this head. However, I did some carving. I used the cake that I carved off and just mix it with some buttercream to create just like a dough-like, and then I use it to fill in the other parts of the cake to make the cheeks a bit more bulky, to put the chin on, the nose on, and the mouth on, and to just make the top of the head a bit rounder. So that's what I did with the pieces that I cut off the cake. And then I covered with some white chocolate ganache just to make the cake firm for decoration. I still was not happy with the shape of the head. That's the reason why I added some more red fondant on top of the head, and then I fill in the eyes, the mouth, and the nose with some fondant so that my sculpting will be easier. Here I am rolling out some white fondant to cover the cake. I just use the blanket method to just throw the fondant over the cake. I'm not very worried about how it will look on the cake, like the texture of it, because Vecna's face is very roughly textured, so the fondant doesn't have to be very smooth, but I'm just going around and completely covering the head with the white fondant. I'll just fill in the bits that are broken off. I'll just fill in some more fondant and use my smoother there just to smooth it out and make it as neat as possible. I am now using some fondant tools, some fondant ball tools, my fingers, just to shape out the nose, because the nose is kind of, I guess, missing or broken or weirdly shaped, so it is sunken in a bit. So that's the reason why I added the extra fondant underneath, so that I can get that pointy shape whenever I'm shaping the fondant around the nose. And then I added some extra fondant at the mouth as well, so that I can use my tool to carve out the lips and form the chin and everything properly. Now onto his eyes. I did use a ruler to measure to ensure that my eyes are going in the correct position. Then I cut out a piece of white fondant just in the shape that I'm happy with, the shape of his eyes. Then I flip it over to cut out the next eye. Vecna's eyes are a bit sunken in, so this is the reason why I'm using my ball tool to just shape out his eyes and push it in a bit, and then the lower part of the eye I will just cut off the excess fondant to make it really sunken in. I am putting on some eyebrows, and then I'll use my fondant tools to just really mess his face up. So I'm just going over it, putting on some lines, some textures. I'm going to roll some thin fondant strings just to create some thick veins over his head and his face. Then I'll just smooth them in with my ball tool so they're not looking all dashed onto his face. I am using the paneling method to just cover the cake board before I start applying his weird looking tentacles that's hanging off his head basically. So I want them to be resting on the cake board, and it will be difficult to cover the missing bits after I've already applied those. So I'm covering the cake board first. Now I'm rolling my fondant into some medium sausage like with some pointy tips to just put onto the sides of his face. I will repeat this step until I have about 5 or 6 tentacles on each side of his face, including his chin. Once I was finished applying all my tentacles, I went ahead and I rolled out a very thin piece of fondant to just conceal the starting point of those tentacles. And now I'm using a fondant tool to just go over these tentacles and bits of his face to create some very detailed textures. After completing my textures, I went ahead and I added 2 small ears to the side of his head, and then I put on some weave looking strands of fondant to the back of his head. I wasn't liking the way they're looking, so I pulled them off and I rolled out some thin pieces of fondant and just lay it over the back of his head. Went in with my fondant tool to create some textures. I continued this step until I completely covered the back of his head. I am adding small bits of grey and black fondant to the side of his cheek and the side of his head just to create more textures and depth into this cake once it is all finished. Using some black fondants to fill in my eyes and the nose as well. Now that I'm very happy with all the textures, all my veins, my tentacles and all the structures of his face, now onto the fun part. I'm going to be doing some airbrushing. Here I'm using some brown and orange. I'm just mixing a little brown and orange airbrush colors and I'm spraying all over his face. Once I have touched every inch of this cake with my mixed colors, I will just go ahead and put a matching brown ribbon around the base of the cake board. You know I always finish my cakes with a matching ribbon. And then my cake will be all done. Tell me how you think I did in the comment section below, and please remember to like this video, share it with your friends and families, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more beautiful cake decorating tutorials. If you have any questions, please ask them down below in the comment section and I will answer them. Thank you very much for watching this video. You must be wondering what I did with this cake. I brought it with me to church and I had fun with the children there. We cut this cake and we ate it all. Until next time, keep on baking.